Disclaimer, this ACDC Premium is one of two that was made at Stern for the US market. It is a sample game. The final production US market games may differ from this one. Okay, we're here to talk about the ACDC Premium model, which is their limited edition LE style game. And some of the features. I'm not going to talk much about the software because it is transitioning and they're making changes, but I think it's a good time to talk about the hardware in the game and what's different about the LE versus the Pro. I've got the game in coil test, and we're just going to look at some of the options and features that are in this game versus that aren't present in the Pro. For instance, here's the detonator. You can see that when the drop targets go down and you hit this center target, you get this kind of action. Let's look at some of the others. Oh, this is kind of interesting. They're using LEDs for flashers too. They don't use them all, but they do use some, which is kind of interesting. Another thing added to the Premiere is these moving band members. Kind of interesting. This is a static plastic on the Pro model. Bell is actually a pretty cool feature on this game. On the Pro, the bell is static. It doesn't move. On this one, it has kind of like a Newton ball underneath, so it rocks. And then you can see there's a slot opto right there that it passes through so it can count the number of times that the bell actually swings. In addition to that, there's a magnet underneath the bell. So if you activate the magnet, the game can actually move the bell by itself. It's kind of a neat little feature. Now, another thing that had to be added to the Premiere is there's a lane down here where my pinky's pointing to. That's not on the Pro version. And the reason why is if the bell is down and the ball gets stuck between it, it nicely flows here into the left loop. They didn't need that on the Pro model, so it's only on the LE models. Also on the Premiere is an added metal ramp that moves the ball from the left ramp to the right ramp. And the reason why this is useful is if you take a shot up the left ramp and the ball comes down here, the diverter can activate, moving the ball over to the right ramp and then ultimately ending up at the cannon so that you can shoot the drop targets over here. It'd be nice if the cannon wasn't right over the slingshot. Speaking of drop targets, the game obviously has drop targets on the Pro model. These are stand-up targets. It's nice to have drop targets. There's a set there, and then there's a set up here too. An interesting thing here are these lightning bolt targets. They're actually on the Pro model too, but they're just straight up plastic, and they've been breaking right across here. So what they've done is they've added little metal backers so that the plastics don't break. The other thing is when this game shipped, it's funny, these are flashers, as you can clearly see. They were shipped with 161 light bulbs, which is just clearly wrong. That lasted about one game and they were burned out. Of course, the one big feature on the Premieres and the LEs is the lower playfield. On the Pro, this is just a graphics of Angus Young's face, which is exceedingly ugly. Some people might like it, I personally don't. But instead they put this lower playfield in, and it has a pair of 2-inch flippers, 3 stand-up targets, and 2 rollover switches. You know, the funny thing about this is that the window to the mini playfield is part of the main playfield, meaning that you can't take the window out. And as you can see, the window is kind of hazy. If you look at it, it's not perfectly clear. I think this was a problem in the production of the main playfields. When they clear coated them, I don't think that they prepped them properly, and you get kind of this hazy, muddy look to the mini playfield window, which really takes something that could have been really nice and kind of makes it look drab. And also, they should have done this window like Gottlieb did on Black Hole Haunted House, where the window is removable. That way you could take the window out, you could polish it, you could clean it, you could flame polish it, you could replace it. On this game, the only way to replace this window is to replace the entire playfield. Dealer cost for playfields is about $500, not to mention all the work to take the parts off the top and the bottom to do this. Hardly something that any average person is going to do. I think this was really short-sighted on Stern's part to make the mini playfield non-replaceable like this. Another feature on this game is the train. The train doesn't have anything moving. It has a little LED, blue LED right there in the front, but it is a three-dimensional train. It's a flat plastic on the Pro model. Another sort of interesting thing about the game is the use of LEDs. There are no general illumination lights anywhere in the game. I mean, as far as incandescents, they're all LEDs. Even stuff like under the slingshots, you know, under these lane dividers, everything is LED. And if you have a problem with LEDs, you're really not going to like this game. It doesn't have a very warm feeling. It's very, very stark. You can see that lower playfield. It's still a little muddy looking. The LEDs don't help that at all. This was something that was added to the Premier models and the LE models is kind of this LED fire flashing thing. Like even the display panel uses is an LED style. It's not a gas plasma high voltage. It's a low voltage 5-volt LED style panel. Now the thing that's interesting about this game is if you listen to the sound, it's high emphasis on ACDC. That is, there isn't a lot of sounds. Like for pop bumpers, there's very little sound. Slingshots, really no sound. You're just hearing the band. This is so unlike other games. It takes a little getting used to. There isn't a lot of voice calls. There's some, but not a lot. See, like even that. Okay, like here's a voice call for shooting the cannon, which is, but that's about the most you're gonna get. It's just not, it's just a lot different than what I'm used to, and I'm not sure that the emphasis on so much on music is a good thing. You gotta really like ACDC a lot if you're gonna own this game or even play much of it. I do like the bell sound though. That's a pretty cool sound. That's well done. This lane we added this rubber because it was just vicious. It would come out, you'd hit the bell and it would just immediately drain straight down in between the flippers. So adding that piece of rubber really helped save that. The guys in the band are playing. Hot damn. Hard to do this one-handed. Welcome to hell. Man, is it hard to shoot this thing. One flipper. Under the playfield, you can see that the slide rails are on this game, on the LE, where they're not on the Pro. The Pro just has the metal poles. And you can also see that it uses a conventional lockdown bar. It does not have that idiotic clasp style lockdown bar like was used on all the Pro models. Also, the speaker is pretty huge in the bottom. And you get a full game manual, not the skimpy little thing that comes in the Pro. Guts of the game are pretty standard. There's more memory on the CPU board because of issues with the songs. There's no high voltage now because there's no high voltage score display. It's a 5-fold display. You can see it looks a little different on the back because it's LED style. The speakers on the insert panel here are pretty wimpy and identical. They both appear to be small mid-range, not really tweeters, though this side has a filter capacitor, so I guess technically one side would be a tweeter and one side isn't, even though they both use identical speakers. You can see the button protectors wrap all the way around, unlike the Pros that don't have this treatment. You also have red legs. And another thing that they've done, because they're using cabinet decals, and the cabinet decals do not wrap around the corner, you can see the cut here from the decals, they've installed these metal plates where the legs bolt on. And what this does is it raises the leg away from the cabinet. You can see that the decals don't go underneath the metal plate. And that stops the leg wrinkling problem that you see on a lot of games that use cabinet decals. Now the advantage of cabinet decals is you get better resolution than printing directly on the cabinet, but the downside is, of course, that, and also if you scratch it, the store can just ship you a new decal, which of course you'll never put on, but at least you got it. The downside is, of course, they're not as durable as screen printing directly to the cabinet. You can see that there's built-in wear in the decals. So in a couple spots, they actually have, oh look, the wear is damaged there. Ouch. They actually put built-in wear in the cabinet. That's kind of weird. The red treatment is cute. I don't know how durable it's going to be. It doesn't seem all that durable to me, especially given the lockdown bar has already scratched the red from the limited use. This one's seen with the bar coming off and on. But at least it is a standard old school lockdown bar and not that stupid class style thing that they're using on the pros. Nice fire button. Really nice looking piece of metal work. Tournament button would normally go there. Coin door is pretty standard. So the match. So in conclusion, if you like the band ACDC and you like LEDs, then this premium model is the thing to get. A lot nicer than the Pro, mostly due to the bell. The bell is really the beauty behind the premium. The mini playfield, the moving band members, the three-dimensional train, the fireworks thing, you know, all that stuff. It doesn't really enhance the play, but the bell is probably the coolest, most unique thing about the game. I just wish it was on the Pro version. If you don't like LEDs and you don't like ACDC, you should stay miles away from this game because you're just not going to find anything redeeming on this model. Or get yourself a T2, which is nearly the same layout, and listen to ACDC on your headphones.